now turn our attention to the head coach of the Tigers, Brent Vernon. Campbellsville winning 82-64. Coach, a big win holding serve at home. I know always important for these conference games, but so many other storylines. You have the big rival, Coach Adkins, back, a guy that you've spent a lot of time with, still very close friends with. This is a big game on a lot of levels and a very big win.
It is, and you know, I always say that Campbellsville, Lindsey, because Coach Adkins is there, it was life last year, and Campbellsville, Cumberland's are hard games for me, and they are. As I continue to do this a little more, they're hard, but I get to where I can block it out a little bit for at least during the game, I almost say, and that helps me just because whenever you're coaching against someone who's been a mentor or a friend, and some of your principles come from them, it's just hard. It is, I thought our guys really came out locked in, focused, and we battled today, and we did a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff, Coach. I agree with that. And how about we'll start with Hagan Tyler, a quiet performance based on his standards on Thursday night against Cumberland University, finished with 7 points. And Miranda Denny was doing color today, and she talked about him letting the game come to him. He didn't force things on Thursday, 3 of 7. He finished with 7 points. And here today, he didn't force things. He let things come to him. 10 of 14, as efficient as you can ever hope for a guy in his position to be.
For sure. And, you know, the thing I say is sometimes I wish you would force things. Thursday night, going back and looking at it, some opportunities were missed from our other players to help him get going, and then he missed some opportunities. But coming into today, you know, sometimes you have a sense and a feeling, and after Thursday and Friday, me and him talking, I really had a sense that there was a chance for him to have a big game, and he did. He stepped up to the challenge, and like you said, he was so efficient, and everything went really well. But yeah, that's what a senior does. A senior in his position who's been through so many battles already, he doesn't let the game and the atmosphere get to him, and he just lets it come to him, and that's why he's a special player for us.
We touched on it on the coaches show this week, and we probably will this coming week as well, but Hagan now 1,700 points in his career, 17-11. Just 5 other Tigers have done that. This is a program that goes back a long time. There have been a lot of great players that have played here. The longevity and what he's been able to do is really astounding.
It is, I must say, and you know, every game we go by means one less of the year, and you get closer and closer to the end, and it's something that I can promise you as a coach I dread every day. And you know, he has left his mark on our program, and he wants nothing more than to go out with as big a bang as he can, and we're going to do everything we can to help that happen for these guys.
He's an unselfish guy. The biggest stat for him will be winning his final game.
Absolutely.
That's what he hopes for. Today, Coach, Andrew Smith was a big part of the game plan. Post touch, entry pass after entry pass. He continues to pass well out of the post, but he also was able to finish around the rim and show off that soft touch.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I thought he probably would have had more than 11 points because he went through a flurry there in the second half, but he didn't have much going in the first. And, you know, we have to do a good job, and we did today, but we're going to have to get really creative moving forward because he's such a focal point, and we want him to get post catches, and teams now, and it probably helped him a little bit, teams now are focusing on what can we do to stop Drew. And I thought we did some good things today to get Dion involved early in the second half. They're going to double a lot off of our 4s. But, you know, we did a really good job adjusting, and Drew does. He's very patient. Still, I think, at times gets punished because of his size. I feel like he just gets fouled so often, but he keeps his composure, and we continue to feed him. And he was a big part of our run in that second half.
Stephon Adams had a slow start to the day, Coach. He was scoreless in the first half, finishes with a dozen, but as he struggled, his old buddy, Juwan Duran, had a big first half off the bench. I think he was in double figures in the first 20 minutes or so. He had a big day, and JD, maybe at home, especially in front of the Tiger fans, had his best performance as a Tiger.
Probably did, yeah, and you know, there was only probably 2 possessions that I was really disappointed in. It was the very first one in. He always, and he just wants things to happen so fast. You know, he's in for 5 seconds, touches the ball and shoots it where he needs to get into a little bit of a rhythm. And he took a 3 a little late in the game there that, you know, it wasn't that it was a bad shot, but there's still 18 on the clock, and we're not stalling, but we're letting the time, you know, play to our advantage. But other than that, he was pretty good. Not too many turnovers. He had 2, so we're working on still doing that. He still gets loose with the ball, but, you know, he's very skilled. We've said it all year, and I thought first half, he did a lot better job. Instead of going east-west, he was north-south, and that's where he's most effective. And then he made a big shot late from 3, and that was the one we want, when there's 8 or 9 on the shot clock and it fans out to him and he can walk into it. So he was good tonight. And you talk about Zob, and Zob might not have been great number-wise in the first half, but he was pretty good defensively after that first stretch. And then second half, he came out and he, again, with Drew and Hagan, he was a separating factor.
Momentum in these games are so important. We had a great crowd here today in the POW. Early in the second half, you force the hand of Lindsey Wilson. They had to take that quick timeout. Jacob King got the crowd up with the lob to Dion, able to finish those plays. Sometimes you don't realize just how important they are, but momentum-wise and being able to really seize control of this game, that was a big play early in the half.
Yeah, and there's a great pass by Jake. I'm going to say I wasn't sure he could make that one. I want to say he's tried to make a few of those in practice, and it's not worked out, but he did a really good job and made a good one. I thought the momentum was always sort of in our favor today, but you go back to, I think, and it's my fault. I told you last week, you talked about me being really hard on myself, and I was. But that's what a coaches do. You're not just supposed to evaluate your players. You're allowed to evaluate yourself, and you've got to improve yourself. And we had gotten away from what our identity was. Even on Thursday night, I know the basket, looked like it kept shrinking and shrinking, but we haven't been pushing in transition like we had first semester in non-conference, and that's my fault. I started slowing it down too much, and that was my biggest thing. Get stops. Every time we get stops, guys, we're out in transition and we're running. Non-conference, we averaged 19 and a half or 19 assists a game as a team. Going into today, our 2 conference games, we were having 6.5. And it was my fault because I was slowing it down and I was taking away some of our biggest threats of being able to shoot the ball. And today I thought we got up and down a lot better. And because we were trying to get up and down, I thought we forced turnovers, and it just played to our advantage. And that goes a really long way for our team and our success.
Well, as you guys continue to work on that, so to speak, I know as the young man behind me makes his way through, scary moment, not a lot of depth. Ron gets nicked up there, rolled ankle, obviously a little touch and go, but I know you were kind of holding your breath a bit.
Yeah, and I guess still are. I think he's a really tough kid, and what I hate the most about it is the time that it's happened. He has put in so much time, and people don't see what our guys do. This year's team's been so special of the time they put in the gym. Again, I've said it a few times, Ronald averaged 17.5 points in junior college. It's coming. He only averages about 7 or 8 for us. He struggled shooting the ball, where he was a 42% shooter in junior college and made a lot. And I heard him after the Georgetown or maybe it was Cumberland U game, just said, I got to find a way to help us. And what he didn't realize is he has been, because he is our best defender. And you see the last 2 games, today 24, I think at Cumberland U is around 20. There's times we can't take him out because he's defending so well. And then today it was great to see him. He jumped up at the end of the first half and made a 3. He made all 3 of his free throws, and it shows, hey, I'm putting time in the gym. He was in here for an hour and a half on his own last night, just getting up shots. And as you work on your game and do those things, you should get rewarded. And because of what he's doing, he's getting rewarded now. And, we just got to hope that it's nothing too severe and we can get him back out there.
You're in your 3rd season as the head coach of the Tigers. You are in the top half of the conference in terms of tenure at your position. Coach Adkins has been around the conference a long time, but he's moved around a little bit. You'll go on the road. You have another new head coach that you'll see next week down at Life with a coaching change. You had Coach Lewis, Coach Adkins, whom you're familiar with. But so adjusting to different rosters with different coaches, that trend will continue come Saturday down at Life.
Yeah, and man, he does it. It's Thursday.
I'm sorry,
no,
Thursday.
But he
it's
does
actually
a great job.
In Reinhardt.
It
or
is.
Waleska.
I'm going to say they had a conflicting date where they had already, I guess, signed a contract. But he does a really good job with his team. They're very hard to guard. They remind me of, not maybe yet to that talent level. I think Coach will get them so talented here soon, but they're playing a lot faster like the old Running Eagles prior to Coach Atkins, and they play fast and they press a little bit, and they have some really talented guys. And Coach, he knew what he was doing. He took a program that you can have a lot of success at with location, and he's a great recruiter and a great coach. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. We talk about it all the time. It's so hard to win on the road. Don't know what happened tonight, but after the first 2 nights, 8-0 home teams. You take our game today, so 9-0 home teams. It's so hard to win on the road, it's got to be a business trip, and we got to go and try to get 2.
And that will be life. And then, of course, the one that really I know means a lot to you, the one at Cumberland's, is always a tough place. Your alma mater. You played for Coach Butcher. He worked under your dad. So a lot of storylines and family ties as you go back to Williamsburg. But it'd be very nice to come back with 2 wins next weekend.
It would. And like I said, our guys are very confident. They feel good about themselves. We got to put in a couple of good days of work and then get on the road. Like I said, it's going to be a straight business trip next week.
Coach, congratulations on this one.
Thanks,
we'll see you on
Appreciate
Thursday.
it.
Coach Brent Vernon and the Tigers victorious here this evening, winning 82-64 over Lindsey Wilson College. As we